Imagine standing on a world where the sky is dominated by a monstrous, swirling gas giant, looming 24 times larger than our moon. You are trapped on a surface of jagged, shifting ice, nearly 400 million miles from Earth. The temperature is 300 degrees below zero. Above you is a lethal storm of invisible radiation that would end your life in a matter of hours. And below you, beneath 10 to 15 miles of solid, cracking ice, is a pitch-black ocean twice the volume of every ocean on Earth combined. Welcome to Europa, Jupiter's icy, enigmatic moon, a world that is simultaneously a frozen nightmare and the single most tantalizing beacon of hope in the search for extraterrestrial life. For decades, humanity has been obsessed with Mars. We've sent rovers, landers, and helicopters to scour the red dust for microscopic fossils. But we might have been looking at the wrong rock. Because everywhere on Earth that there is liquid water, there is life. And Europa is absolutely drenched in it. But to understand how life could exist here, you have to understand just how incredibly strange and violent Europa actually is. Because this isn't a peaceful frozen rock. It is a geologically active, chaotic world, constantly being tortured by gravity. Let's start with the surface. If you look at high-resolution images of Europa, it doesn't look like our moon. It's not covered in thousands of ancient craters. Instead, it looks like a giant, bruised eyeball. The surface is completely scarred with massive, reddish-brown streaks and ridges that stretch for thousands of miles. These aren't just cracks. They are evidence of a dynamic, shifting crust. Europa's surface is relatively young, geologically speaking, meaning the ice is constantly renewing itself. Giant tectonic plates of ice crash into each other, pulling apart and sliding under one another, much like the continental plates on Earth. Those reddish-brown stains? Scientists believe they are sea salts and sulfur compounds that have been pushed up from the ocean below and instantly baked by Jupiter's intense radiation. Europa is literally sweating its own internal chemistry out into space. But the real magic and the real mystery lies in what is generating all of this activity. Europa is tiny, about the size of Earth's moon, and it is freezing. It should be a dead solid block of ice all the way to its core. It isn't, because of a phenomenon called tidal heating. Europa orbits Jupiter in an elliptical path. When it gets close to the massive gas giant, Jupiter's immense gravity physically stretches the entire moon, pulling its icy shell and rocky core out of shape. When Europa orbits further away, the moon relaxes back into a sphere. This happens over and over again, every 3.5 days. Imagine taking a thick piece of metal and rapidly bending it back and forth. The metal gets incredibly hot from the internal friction. That is exactly what is happening to Europa. The immense gravitational tug-of-war generates massive amounts of internal heat. This heat is what keeps a global, saltwater ocean, estimated to be anywhere from 40 to 100 miles deep, from freezing completely solid beneath the ice. But liquid water isn't enough to make a world habitable. If Europa's ocean is just a sterile expanse of dark, freezing water, nothing can grow. Life, at its simplest, demands 3 things: water, energy, and the right chemical building blocks like carbon, nitrogen, and oxygen. For a long time, astrobiologists worried that Europa was missing that vital third ingredient. But the prevailing consensus has shifted dramatically. Scientists now believe the answer lies at the very bottom of that alien abyss. Unlike some other icy moons in our solar system, Europa is thought to have a rocky seafloor that is in direct contact with the ocean water. And because of that intense tidal heating tearing at the moon's core, it is highly likely that the seafloor is fractured, churning with deep-sea hydrothermal vents. On Earth, deep-sea vents are scattered along the ocean floor, spewing superheated, mineral-rich water into the freezing depths. And they are completely teeming with life. Entire alien-looking ecosystems, tube worms, blind crabs, and glowing bacteria thrive entirely in the dark. They don't need sunlight. They feed off the chemical-rich soup spewing from the planet's crust in a process called chemosynthesis. Europa's seafloor could be doing the exact same thing. It could be acting as a massive underwater chemical factory, mixing the perfect organic cocktail necessary to spark life. Boom, water, energy, chemistry. All contained within one icy, terrifying sphere. A hidden world where alien evolution could have been silently ticking away in the dark for billions of years. So, if this place is a giant cosmic aquarium, why haven't we knocked on the door yet? Because Europa is heavily guarded. It sits inside the single worst radiation environment imaginable. Jupiter isn't just a gas giant. It acts like a colossal particle accelerator. Its magnetic field traps charged particles and whips them around at near light speed. Europa orbits right in the middle of this cosmic death ray. These charged particles constantly bombard the Moon. If you stood on the surface, you'd receive a lethal dose of radiation in mere hours. Any normal spacecraft we send there would have its electronics instantly fried. It is the ultimate keep out sign. But humanity has a habit of ignoring those. In October 2024, NASA called Jupiter's bluff and launched the Europa Clipper. This isn't just a probe. This is the largest, most heavily armored interplanetary spacecraft NASA has ever built for a planetary mission. The Clipper is a mechanical leviathan. It weighs 13,000 pounds. And to power itself so far from the sun, it boasts massive solar arrays that, if stood on end, would reach the top of the Statue of Liberty. But its most impressive feature is its survival strategy. To survive the millions of X-rays bombarding the Jovian system, the Clipper uses two brilliant workarounds. First, it is not orbiting Europa. Doing so would be a suicide mission, dooming the craft to constant, heavy radiation. Instead, the Clipper will enter a long, wide, elliptical orbit around Jupiter itself, only dipping into the danger zone to execute dozens of high-speed precision flybys of Europa. Second, every sensitive computer, every navigation system, and every electronic brain on this ship is locked inside a heavily armored vault made of solid titanium and aluminum. It is a flying fortress. It's currently on a 5.5-year journey. To get enough speed to reach Jupiter by 2030, the spacecraft is using a brilliant piece of orbital mechanics, slingshotting itself around Mars to steal orbital momentum, flying back to Earth for another gravity assist, and then hurtling all the way out into the dark. Now, we need to set the record straight on what this mission actually is. Europa Clipper is not specifically a life search mission. It doesn't have a giant drill to pierce the ice, and it doesn't have a submarine to catch alien organisms. Its goal is to definitively prove the habitability of Europa. It's checking to see if the lights are on, if the heat works, and if the chemistry is right. Armed with 9 highly advanced instruments, the Clipper is going to tear the veil off this moon. Ice-penetrating radar will scan the crust, searching for shallow lakes trapped in the ice. High-resolution cameras will map the chaotic surface, and highly sensitive mass spectrometers will literally sniff the thin atmosphere, analyzing the chemical composition of the dust and water vapor that gets kicked up into space. We are going to find out exactly how thick that ice shell is. We are going to map the hidden ocean. We are going to find out if the geology is active right now. The stakes couldn't be higher. Finding a habitable environment, or even primitive life on Europa would be profound. It would mean that life isn't a miraculous, 1 in a trillion earthbound fluke. If life could evolve twice in the exact same solar system, it means life is a cosmic inevitability. But it would also be profound if we found absolutely nothing. Everything we think we know about the origin of life, all the necessary ingredients, seem to be present on Europa. If we go there, look into that massive, swirling, chemical-rich ocean, and find an entirely dead, sterile abyss, then it may be far more likely that the miracle of Earth truly is unique. It might mean we are completely alone, for millions or even billions of light years in every direction. Either way, the answer is waiting in the dark.